Where'd my magnet?
I didn't.
Holly, I need your honor code of conduct.
Oh.
Mine was like in my purse for like a week.
Yeah, not yours.
It's a little crinkly.
I will get that to you tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good, sounds good. Tomorrow is your first vocab quiz, correct? Hi Lauren, are we on?
Yeah, we're on. There we go.
And action!
That's right.
I put Olivia to go to cinematography. On her college application.
That would be really fun.
Stretching the truth.
Okay, your word of the day today is vacillate. Bless you. It is a verb, it means to fluctuate or hesitate. I prefer a definite answer, but my boss kept vacillating between the distinct options available to us. My husband has a CD by the Violent Femmes. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of the Violent Femmes. Probably the only one in here who may even have a chance of having heard of it would be Marnie. Your dad, but your dad heard of it. That's the name of their album, Vacillate Wildly. That's what I think of every time I see that word.
That's a funny album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be very alternative music.
What do they sound like? Like the bands?
Sure.
I'll have to play them for you sometime.
Like, who's
Yeah.
your favorite band or person?
My favorite group, Dave Matthews.
That's what I said.
Oh my god.
Wow, I freaked out there, but
My
I
favorite.
have a question.
And it's funny that I'm glad you guys have heard of it. 41.
really, I think Andy Marching is mine. I play it too.
Yeah, he's country, right?
I like 41.
You know how
No, he's not country.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
What would his genre be? It's more like,
Alternative pop, probably.
yeah, I would say that.
Yes, question.
this is kind of random, but not, okay, anyway, you know how like in the past we've had like checking accounts, so we have like money and stuff, are we doing that this
I
year?
don't think so.
Cause does that mean we're not having like a, I guess we don't do
Your
in schools
Jeopardy?
anymore.
No, we're doing in schools this year.
We are?
No,
I don't think so.
We're,
I heard that we were.
no,
I
It's
heard
not
that
on the
we
calendar,
weren't.
it's
Yeah.
not on the calendar,
Yeah.
so.
Olivia,
I really didn't like this chapter.
you didn't like, I know.
So I would die, I was really
That
confused.
was sad.
It is,
Like, I was confused, like Simon and like the Lord of the Flies, they were like
Yes.
one spoke as like a group person,
mhm.
and it was like, I am the beast, and I was like, what?
I was talking to Lauren Goodman yesterday after school about, she had asked me if the pig was the devil. And I was explaining to her that I personally don't associate this novel with religion. But some people do. And I guess, now that I've thought about it, the only connection I can see is through the theme good versus evil, which would go back to the Garden of Eden, right? But as far as the title goes, I don't make that connection when I see this book. I don't automatically think, oh, it's religious. Because I see the flies as all the boys. And the Lord as like Ralph and Jack, I suppose. That's my interpretation. You can interpret it however you want to. That's the thing I like about literature, I guess, that I like better than math, is that there's more than one answer, right? So, that's what I told her about as far as the religious aspect goes. But, yeah, it was a pretty intense chapter. So let's discuss it. Olivia, you wanna talk about what you didn't like?
Simon, like, goes up into the woods by himself because Jack, like, went off and, like, split away from Ralph, and, like, some of the kids followed him because he was, like, a good hunter, and some of the kids stayed with Ralph and Piggy. and Simon like went into the woods by himself because he wanted to climb the mountain. He thought they would be safer there, I guess. And he kind of like sacrificed himself, and I think he's dead, but I'm not really sure. But the Lord of the Flies came and like got Simon.
Okay.
So the Lord of the Flies is the beast.
That's what it said.
Yeah, it's because it said, I am the beast.
Yeah.
And I was like, thanks for telling me.
But then I was like,
I was a little confused though. That whole
It
the
can
whole
be
ending of the
confusing.
chapter was really confusing. I was just like,
well, it was like telling him, it was like, no, like run, like go back with your people, and then he like wasn't moving, he was like, why aren't you going, like.
What
Yeah.
is the
he's like,
beast?
before I change my mind, leave.
Like,
What is the beast?
isn't the beast with them? Like
Yeah,
what
that's
they
what I
become?
was thinking.
But it's the piece.
And the pig is like the representation of what is forming within them,
Okay,
I think.
Okay.
So
I
the whole
agree.
thing with the Lord of the Flies is actually them, but they're just making up this whole beast. But the beast is actually them that they're fighting against each other.
that's a pretty good,
But then it was the piece.
yeah,
I'm like trying to
I don't
connect
think
all
it
these
was
things in my
the
brain.
yeah.
What?
I don't know.
The,
Maybe it was.
the beast is within them,
Did
They
Jack
have
kill
become
him?
the beast.
okay. I don't
Does that mean
like
does
it.
that- Does that mean one of their own? Wait, is Simon dead or alive?
Well, that's what I want to
So,
discuss.
sorry.
Olivia thinks he's dead. He has taken one for the team, so to
I
speak.
thought he just went psycho. I thought it was all in his head, like he's in the forest by himself and it's creepy, so it's all like in his head that he's like getting all confused and
Do
stuff.
you think they killed him? Why would they?
Well, they were playing that like pig game that whenever they killed a pig, then like one of the boys would pretend. And they killed the pig and cut his head off, and maybe they found Simon.
Okay.
Killed him. I don't know.
They are bordering on fantasy and real life while they're out there, right? And I think, you know, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. After you've been out there for so long, I think you can start to hallucinate, or you start to like go out of your mind, lose your mind a little bit. And so by playing this pig game, like when they were poking at Roger, it could start to get out of hand and start to turn real. And that maybe that's what happened to Simon. Any other theories?
Well, I don't know, I was a little confused when it was like, cause he like goes into that field where he usually does, and he was like, it almost seemed like he was dying of heat exhaustion and
Okay.
thirst.
Mhm.
So I'm, like, it makes me think like, and he's like, and then he like just refused to like move, he just sat there, so I don't know if it was the boys that killed him, cause I don't know, for me it doesn't really like insinuate that they did.
Okay.
But the fact that, like, that field has a lot to do with, Simon, and it's like, I think maybe that was, like a death place
Okay.
for him. But also, if he's alive, then he could've just came up upon the pig and almost kind of thought it in his mind that that's what it's telling him, 'cause that's
Okay.
how he feels.
Why do you think Golding would kill off this character? What would be the purpose?
Good is dying.
Okay,
They're all turning savage.
the death of good,
Yeah.
evil's
Simon
prevailing
seemed
at
like
this
he was-
point, maybe?
Simon seemed like he was one of the only ones besides like Piggy that like, like wanted to do like a right thing, like we need shelter, we also need food, we also need like
He wanted
fire
order.
for the food, yeah.
Yeah,
So like everyone else is like running rampant, so they're killing off the people that are trying to do the right thing
okay,
instead of the people that are being savages.
okay, good point, Holly.
Well, I know you said that you don't really relate this book with religion, but it just made me think of this because you mentioned that Simon is kind of like
Yeah.
Christ, and like
Yeah,
basically he was sacrificed.
Yeah.
Because
that's what one of the critics said, that Simon represents Christ and that he sacrificed himself. I guess I could see that. That's just one critic's, opinion. So, at this point, you think Golding, the author, is letting evil prevail. We're building up to something, right? The climax of the book here. It's building. Have you wondered if they're gonna get rescued? How many of you think they will be rescued?
I'm not ready for it.
Or thinks they will, how many of you think they won't? Or
When
you're
I-
not sure?
Whenever I read it, it's something weird. I'm not even like, because they're so savage, I'm not even thinking about like, oh, I hope they get rescued, because they
Mhm.
don't even really care anymore, it
I
seems
know,
like.
yeah.
Well, and not just that, but like with the whole fire thing, because
Mhm.
like Ralph was all like, "There's not enough of us to like make the fire," and he's like, "And they just don't care," and he's like, "I'm starting to think like at sometimes like I don't care," so it's like they're not even like putting out a signal to be saved.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they don't want it.
It's kinda like some of them have given up, thrown in the towel. What do you think people in this situation, have you seen the movie Castaway
Yeah.
with Tom Hanks? That might be a
Movie's
good
really
movie night
quiet.
movie. What?
The movie's really quiet.
It's really
Yeah,
Doesn't have anyone else to
It's
talk
like
to, it's
what?
about like volleyball or whatever
10
it is.
minutes before
Wait.
anyone speaks a word in the whole movie or something. It's Tom Hanks, is he a pilot? Or he's
no.
just on a plane?
Yeah, because it's like it works for like UPS. or
Yeah,
something.
FedEx
Yeah,
or
FedEx,
whatever.
yeah.
And they made all those funny commercials after that movie, but, he is on a plane and it crashes and he has to survive. And there's a volleyball that washes up on shore and it like becomes his comfort toy, his friend, he
Like
names it,
Piggy's
it's Wilson. What, yeah, like Piggy's glass. He,
That has a handprint on it.
yeah. And
Space.
he's gone for, is it 5 years?
Yeah, I
Something
think
like
it's
that.
5 years. Yeah.
And his wife, does she remarry?
Yep.
Yeah.
She has a kid.
Helen Hunt plays his wife, I don't know if you know who she is, but she was in Pay It Forward and
Mhm.
lots of other things, but, she remarries in his absence and
I know, I just don't get that.
Does she think
he
he's
survives. What?
Does she think he's dead?
Yeah,
Everyone did.
everyone does.
Everyone does,
And,
yeah.
at some point, you know, her character has to get on with her life, I suppose. And he survives and goes back, you know, to their house, and it's very awkward. And because he is like still in love with her, and you know,
Sure he is.
stuck in the
Wife.
past.
Well, and
And
the fact too
she's-
is like the thought of her kind of like kept him going.
Right? Yes.
Yeah.
And then he gets there and realizes she's moved on. It's if you get a chance to see it, it might be a good movie night movie. I don't know, but it's just about survival, and there are parts of this book that remind me a little bit about that movie. And what have people resorted to who've been in this situation? I think about the boys doing this.
Eating each other?
Yeah, cannibalism.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't,
That actually makes people go crazy,
yeah,
and we should not consume human meat.
Yeah.
yes.
No.
I mean,
Really good.
and then, and I can't imagine, I mean, and who would go first? Well, Piggy. He has the most meat on him, right?
It kind of reminds me, cause like the Donner Party.
Yes.
It's like the freakiest thing I think I've heard of like cannibalism, because just like the fact that they're like trapped on this mountain and like little
Wait,
kids.
what is this?
The Donner Party? It was when immigration was a gold rush and they were going across, and there was this group. They got trapped up on the mountain and it like snowed them in. And so they were trapped there for months, and so they ate each other.
Wait,
Well, so there's only one
There was,
person
there was
left.
like
There's
one
one person
survivor
Oh.
that they found, and like not only the fact of like the neglect towards the body, but the psychological damage because they had
Absolutely.
to kill kids and
Yes.
eat them. So it's like
Yeah.
yeah, it makes
Yeah.
you kind of want to throw up.
cringing right
Yeah,
now.
it's, there was a serial killer named Jeffrey Dahmer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've heard of him. You can Google him, but he's dead. He hung himself, I think, in prison, but he used to, I'm on tape here, he used to, he liked little boys, and he would lure them back to his apartment and molest them and kill them and freeze them, their body parts, and when they found him in his refrigerator were like body parts in his freezer. And growing up, of course they did these in-depth interviews with family members, and one of his family members said that growing up, he was the kid who would kill animals and put their heads on sticks, which is, what they did with the pig's head. And at some point, as a parent or a guardian, wouldn't a red flag go off and say, this is,
That's not normal.
yeah, something's going on here, yeah. And so it goes back to the psychology of it, what made him, and every now and then on TV they'll be like on biography or whatever, the study of like Ted Bundy, who was another serial killer, or Jeffrey Dahmer. It's just very interesting to me. But he ended up going to prison, and I think he hung himself, but which is tragic, but at the same time, is it? I know that people say one day he can have an epiphany and totally change, but the chance of that, I think, is so slim.
It's so inbred into the brain.
Yes.
Like, actually, cause even like, cause my dad, like, from the beginning of, like, when I was younger, he, like, introduced the idea that, the world isn't really safe.
Right.
And.
It's sad that you have to do that.
And he was saying that, like, there was this one show he was watching, and he said, like, cause, like, whatever, these, like, people that, hurt others, and they go to prison or rehabilitation, and he's like, this one that was convicted said himself that they can't change. It's like, it's already like psychologically embedded into their brain, and there's no way to change that.
It's very interesting. I mean, crimes that aren't psychological, I think you can change. Like if you're a thief or, whatever. The chances of you changing are probably higher than if it's like Hannibal Lecter. What's that movie?
Isn't it called Hannibal or something?
So there's one, it's about sheep.
Wait, Silence of the Lambs?
Silence of the Lambs, sheep, lambs, close. Have you seen Silence of the Lambs?
Yeah.
You
And the
have-
guy that eats the.
Yeah,
eats
you guys haven't seen
people.
Silence of the Lambs? Ooh, it's a good one to watch around Halloween.
Oh, thank you.
Jodie Foster, do you know who she is?
Nah, I just watched
She's
I watched Hocus Pocus.
She-
Pocus, that's the only one I watched.
she's a lawyer. She's a lawyer, and Anthony Hopkins
Town High.
is Hannibal Lecter, and he's in prison, and she is sent to like study him, and it's
But
very
in fact, it's like he studies her.
Exactly.
It's really creepy.
very interesting. I'll never forget one comment he makes as she's walking down in the jail, walking to his cell. He's very smart. A lot of criminals are.
That's the creepy part.
Yeah.
Is that
And
there's
he's like,
so-
he looks at her shoes and he goes, you can tell a lot by a person. You can tell a lot about a person by their shoes.
Mhm.
And it's just very, very interesting, but scary. Psychologically, it's a thriller. So if you want to get scared during Halloween, that's a good one for you. Yeah.
There's a movie, I think Johnny Depp is in it, and I can't remember what it's called, but he goes like crazy, and he kills like his
Secret
ex-wife.
Window?
The Secret Window. He kills his like ex-wife and her husband, and he makes corn out of their he uses their body as like fertilization.
Oh my.
And he eats the corn, and whenever the corn grows in like the backyard, and whenever the investigators came to his house, and they found like so much corn everywhere, and they found a body.
Wow, that's very disturbing.
Like so
Sounds like
basically
Criminal Minds
he was
episode.
basically like eating them.
Yeah. That is sick. Twisted.
Twisted.
Anyway,
Who comes up with a
bring
movie
this
like
back
that?
around to Lord of the Flies.
I thought that was really disturbing, just like the fact that he wanted to put the boar's head on the stick and
Yeah.
like.
What does that
a
symbolize?
show.
What does that symbolize?
Silence.
He's
What?
proud of it.
He's proud
He's
of
like
it.
showing it off.
Trophy. Right, look what I did. Like if you have a
His
cat,
hands,
it
like-
brings a little mouse to your doorstep, "Look, I brought this for you," which they do, they think they're doing something for you, and you're like, disgusting, you're like, no.
And there was,
They're like, you ungrateful human, I killed this for you.
well, there's like the other really disturbing part where he has the pig's blood on his hand and he's like, all like, hey guys, like look at it, and then he like wipes it on somebody's face.
Yes,
So
they
so
have it,
steamy.
yeah, they like decorate their face with
Yeah.
orange.
How have they not caught like diseases yet? and
Yeah,
stuff?
that's
Like,
You know, yeah, I don't know.
Like I was also thinking Piggy was like chubby when they got there, but like if it's been like over a month and
That's
they
what I
have
was
like
thinking.
giant
Why is
amounts
he-
of food
like,
and
he's
they're all
probably
running
not-
around, how would he not have lost weight and be as skinny as all the other ones?
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're very undernourished, and we talked about how the body needs water and how they're so dehydrated. And when that happens, your mind, you're not yourself. You know how you feel when you're like super hungry and it's been a long time between meals, right? You feel lightheaded, you're not yourself, and
Eat a Snickers.
yeah, those commercials. And so imagine how they are coping with this, and they're not, and they're little, you know, they don't have the knowledge or.
They don't know how to cope with
Exactly,
it.
they don't know how to, yeah, you're exactly right.
I think though that the fact that like Piggy isn't like losing weight is like another symbolic part of it, because if like last Ralph was explaining it and he was like looking at the other boys, they're all dirty, their hair is growing, he goes, yeah, Piggy, like it seems like his hair isn't growing at all. So it's like as they're all turning savage, Piggy's staying the same
Mhm.
within even his thought process, but also his physical
Which
aspect.
shows his maturity.
And what's that a
Yeah.
symbol of? Maturity?
Yeah.
Control.
And it's
Control.
not like letting go, it's not
Leadership.
changing.
Okay, I like that, control.
Mhm.
He's thrown into this savage environment, but yet he's able to remain in control, which is a sign of a good leader.
Mhm.
But they're all too wrapped up in who's the most popular, who can kill something, to see, they're blind to his leadership skills. And Simon as well. So the good is dying, the evil is prevailing. Any predictions?
Oh, we obviously know Piggy dies.
You're convinced Piggy dies?
Mhm.
Yes, he does. Tragically.
I kind of have this feeling though, like.
It's not peaceful.
Huh?
It's not peaceful.
No. You have a feeling what?
I have this feeling that like everything's gonna like come down and all the, you know, the leaders are gonna like Piggy and Simon, if they die, that's like the symbol that the good is dying. I think they're all gonna like, I mean, for my prediction, what I think might happen is that they're all kind of gonna like realize it and be like, hey, we need to definitely start over. But I kind of get a feeling that they're not gonna be rescued, they're gonna save themselves
Okay.
and save their
That's an
environment.
interesting
Okay.
perspective.
That's what I'm
Yeah, that's
like, I
interesting.
kinda like.
Any other predictions? Lauren, you said you feel like they're gonna be rescued. What makes you think that?
I don't know. I just think it would be a good ending to the story. I don't know, I just still have hope for them,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
even if they don't have it themselves.
It would be a good ending, yes.
Mhm.
And that might be what would wake them up, you know, to realize, what have we done?
Can you imagine their parents though?
I know.
I can't even imagine what kind of state they would be.
Well, the parents probably already think they're dead,
Yeah, that's what.
because it's been a while. They probably already know the plane went down.
Mhm.
They didn't come home like they were supposed to.
You can't really do much because of the war that's going on.
Right, and then you know, if they are rescued, because I'm trying not,
Yeah.
if they are rescued, having to tell the parents, well, we found them, however,
There are some missing.
yeah, so-and-so and so-and-so is dead, or if they're never rescued,
That would be so horrible.
you know, with the parents, would it be even better for the parents to think they were never rescued?
Did they move on or,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just like Castaway. She thought he was dead. And so she moved on. Took her a while. She didn't like get a personal ad the next day and find a spouse.
Yeah.
She, you know, mourned him, she had maps laying on the table of the area where he was supposed to be, and, I mean, it was sad. And then, to end class on a funny note, they had these FedEx commercials after that movie came out.
Yes.
Of this guy walking up to this lady's door, knocking on the door, and she answered, and it was a FedEx guy, and it was like, was it his suitcase? And it was all beat up because, you know, it had been on an island or whatever, and she's like, and it was a FedEx commercial, and he was like, we do deliver, you know, it was really a powerful commercial. Very funny, and then of course Saturday Night Live got a hold of it and made it even funnier. But, if you get a chance to see that movie, it'll make you
There's
think.
some really weird parts though, especially when he has to like take out his tooth. Like
Yes.
the ice skate.
Oh,
God,
yeah.
I'm like always like going like this.
I cannot watch that.
He finds all these things, you know, and you just can't imagine, I can't imagine how resourceful a person becomes when you're faced with a situation like that of
I
survival.
can't imagine not being around like a human being for that long, like another person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
it's a
alone
lot.
that survives.
Yeah.
He's
Oh, I
alone.
would go crazy right now.
Yeah.
You know what I find really funny too?